Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tarotscope video for the week of May 3rd. The energy that we get this week is the King of Swords. Dun, 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 dun. It's his little air wings floating him up, flying up. Now, King of Swords, air of air, right? Because kings they represent the air element for their role, and then swords, obviously the suit of air. And I think that there's a really beautiful thing that happens when the elemental correspondence for the role matches the elemental correspondence for the suit. It just simplifies. It doesn't simplify things, that's actually misstating it. It narrows the focus of what you're dealing with in a way that makes it, it just makes it a little bit easier to gain a lot of ground in a shorter amount of time. So here, dealing with the air element, we are purely dealing with, the head and throat. It's like here to here. Intellect, reason, thought process, communication. When this card comes up in readings, air of air, I always think, whew, this is going to be an easier one for people to digest, really, because our culture, our society is so deeply air-based, and we value matters of the head over almost anything, except for matters of the pentacles sometimes, as it relates to finance. But that's a little side note. What we're going to be doing this week is really focusing on both sides of the element of air. There's the intellectual side and the communication side, as I've said. And I know a lot of times I suggest really leaning towards one side or the other, but this week I want to get really into both, and doing it in a way where we are going through our mental catalog and figuring out ways that we are communicating to ourselves that could use a little upgrade. So I'm showing you an example of this right here. I'm giving you this beautiful moment of executive realness at my desk in my little blazer and button up and the whole thing. Side note, this dress I stole from the Spring Lake Park High School theater department when I was in 10th grade. And this blazer I got on clearance at Nordstrom Rack over a decade ago. So it doesn't, what I'm talking about when I talk about upgrades, when we talk about these things, it's not about spending a lot of money. It's not even really about spending a lot of time in some instances. It's just where you're focusing the energy. And this week, I want us to really focus on that. Get into how you're communicating to yourself in ways that you may not even be aware of. I had a moment this week where I was rearranging my studio, going through things, the whole shebang. And I realized that my desk was set up in a way that I was sitting at it facing the wall. Like I'd put myself in a corner over here. And it's crazy. It's ridiculous. And the communication that was coming through was that when I do the desk work, that's something that's it's kind of a punishment, is really what was coming through. And I rearranged, I did all this stuff, and now I'm sitting behind the desk, facing out into my big gorgeous studio that you're not seeing. Well, you've seen it a little bit before. Anyway, and then also when people come into this room, I look them in the eye. They don't come up and approach me from behind. It just really changes the dynamic. It seems like a small thing. Also, rearranging seems like a wands thing. It seems like a little bit of a fire thing. And that's why I'm telling you this anecdote, is to just present that the realm of communication does not happen just inside our head and inside our throat. That's where it lives energetically, but we communicate to ourselves with everything in our lives. So this is how I'm communicating to myself this week, and I challenge you and invite you and cheer you on as you go forth and find ways that you can communicate some more positive messages to yourself. You've got a great wind on your side. Tarot puns. So here we go. And how about that Scorpio full moon last week? That's what I think about it. It's a new week. Let's go, babes. Bye.